I sell 20 postcards at, what, 20 minutes, 15 minutes to pull those cards and put them in an envelope, put them in the mailbox, or if I'm running out, I'll run them over to the post office. It's not hard. I don't know why people don't do that. Welcome back to SMPostcards. Today, I got the little agenda that you can see in the front of every video, so if you're looking for something, it'll be there. I'm going to go through what's sold on eBay. I only sell on eBay now. I got rid of Etsy, Hip, all these other sites. I just sell in the place where 90% of the postcards and 90% of the sellers are. And I can focus better on just one site. So I'll show you what's sold. Sold 12 cards. I want to do 16. I only sold 12. Then I'm going to do a deep dive on Jamaica Postcards. I always try to pick up any kind of Caribbean postcards, any Pacific, Atlantic Ocean, Caribbean and Atlantic. I try to pick those up if I get them for a good price, because they usually do move. People go on vacation or just want a card from there. I do sell those. Now they're not jumping off the shelves, but they are a good seller for me. So we'll get into Jamaica Postcards, get into some pricing, a little history on Jamaica, sell-through rate, and just my opinion about them. And I'll show you some examples of postcards from Jamaica. And then I did a poll. Every Saturday I put a poll out. It goes out about 9-10 Central Time. And people can participate and just select an option, or they can leave a comment, stuff like that. And this one is, do you use an accounting program to manage your business? This was a viewer sent this in and wanted me to do the poll to see. So when you do your numbers and stuff, do you use some kind of QuickBooks, Peachtree, some accounting program, Wave, Google Docs, spreadsheets? This, I'll walk you through it, and I'll show you what I do and the way I think about it and what it works for me every year. And then at the end of every video, you want to stick around, because I pull comments from YouTube and emails. YouTube, if you put a comment, it's got your username in there. Everybody can see it. It's open season on that. I use them or whatever, but if you send me an email, a little more private, if I see something I want to use, I'll ask you most of the time. If not, I'll take a snippet out and leave your name off and keep it private between us. So it's helped a lot of people. I get a lot of emails, and I try to answer every one. If I haven't got back to you, send it again. It's all in a different email system outside of my computer, so it gets security and stuff like that a little bit better. But everything usually does flow through. I don't have a lot of rules. Now let's get into what's sold on eBay. Again, I only sold 12 cards. Sales are up and down this year. People are sending me messages, leaving comments. Sales suck, eBay needs to advertise more, and stuff like that. That stuff I can't control. What I can control is what I list every day, how I pack my service, and shipping. And we'll talk about shipping in viewer comments, why I ship 6 days a week and some people don't, and what I have control of. You just got to go with the market. You can lose your mind trying to think about what eBay can do and what I can do and stuff like that. If you have certain bills that you got to make, it's tough. So it's cash flow, cash going in, cash going out. We'll talk a little bit about that. But I have a little fun. If I have some slow months and it doesn't make what I want, I can always pull out of that. I haven't had to do that in a long, long time, because I got my expenses so low. I haven't had a problem with paying everything for the business and coming through at the end of the month. But by the end of the month, end of the quarter, I'm usually where I am last year. I don't jump and change a lot of things if I have a bad Saturday and Sunday. Like with Labor Day weekend and stuff, it's going to slow down. When the kids go back to school, people are spending money on stuff for school, shoes. My daughter spent way over, she said, what she wanted, but the kids like it and they want the new stuff, right? We all remember that. Or your car breaks down and people have to spend money on that. So disposable income is what postcards fall into. It's a hobby, so like that. And some resellers go out and find cards on eBay to resell them as well. But it's a collectible. It's not new goods. It's not like shampoo, toothpaste, where it's consumable. You can keep replacing and looking for the best price. It's a hobby. It's enjoyment, and just like golf and stuff, and biking, different things like that. So I don't look at jumping over hoops when sales jump down and start blaming people and eBay. and all this stuff. I just roll with the punches and do the best I can. But let's go and see what I sold. First one I sold, it sold for $6.55. This is one of the Navy ships that I did price up because I really like Zeppelins, airships. To me, these on a postcard, I look for these. They tend to do sell. Sometimes they take a while, but this is a publisher card. I got about 100 or so, 70 of these left, and this sold for $6.55. Next card is another naval ship. It's a publisher card, USS New Jersey, BB62, color, chrome card, made by a publisher, unposted, $4.75. Next one sold for $5.65. This is some Devil's Hop Yard, Salem, Connecticut. It's a quadruple waterfall or something. Just an unposted card, and that sold for $5.65. Probably the most highest priced waterfall I've sold. Next is another ship, the Maltese Freighter Aldea, and Salt Meadow Publishers, Orleans, Maine. It's a nice looking picture of a ship coming in with the waves. So that's posted 1984, $4.75. This one is a Pennsylvania Getting Maple Syrup is Special. Just a chrome card, unposted, $4.75. Another naval ship. This is the USS Tang, SS-306, so SS means a submarine right there. It's a publisher card, and that sold for $4.75. Then I got a Continental card, and this has got some stuff on the front, so it might be coming back. I didn't see that probably when I listed it, but it's got a little goobers, some glue stuck to the front. Well, we'll find out. I'll send them a message and say there's a little glue on the front. I'll have to check the listing and see if I put that in there. Probably didn't, and it's hard to see on the scan, as you can see. So I'll be up front with that with these guys and let them know. But that's a 6x4 crane card, $4.75. Next person bought two cards for $11.54. This is the Union Station, Norfolk, Virginia. White border card, vertical up and down, unposted. And then he bought Norfolk, Virginia Hotel Sutherland. And this was 1916. Posted card, divided back, and that's another vertical card. So he bought both of these cards for $11.54. Maybe stationed in Norfolk and stuff like that. Next card sold for $7.55. $7.55. This is bird's eye view of a residential section in Norfolk, Virginia. This was a divided back card, and you can see the bleed of the postage coming through, the killer stamp. That doesn't bother. That's the history of the card on there. That never had anybody say anything. But that sold for $7.55. And the last two cards sold for $9.50. I think there's a little style about this one. This is the ferry leaving Vancouver. It's a Canadian card. But if you look on the side here, there's a little decoration there. Some tomahawks, a spear, and a teepee along the side. That's Vancouver. And then the next one they bought was the same type of card, chrome card, and it's got the same thing. So maybe a series or something that I don't know of. But I sold those for $9.50. So only 12 cards sold. Not bad. Took me about 10 minutes to pull them and pack them. Not that big of a deal. Total dollars though was $74.08. I take $74.08 divided by 12. I get an average sale price of $6.17. Now that's gross numbers. I don't do the net on the videos because it's too complex to talk about that every time. So gross ASP is $6.17 for those cards, and those will go out today. That's what's sold. Just consistent. Just keep going. Now let's get into Jamaica. We went there. We were on a cruise. We did the Caribbean cruise. We were in Jamaica. We actually snorkeled in one of the bays there. It was really nice. We went into a local market and stuff, and we hit Cayman Islands and hit all those different places on the cruise ship. We weren't the biggest fans of cruises. Go to Florida every year and stuff like that. We kind of like that better. But our friends go cruising and stuff and took us, and we went with them. It was fun, but it got probably a little boring and on the days that you're just at sea and stuff like that. I'm not a gambler, so I didn't go into the casinos and stuff like that. My wife liked it, but our room was like in the bottom of the boat. And talk about being dark when you turn the lights off. So it was a little claustrophobic, but it was neat to walk around the ship and see the different things, a new experience, but we probably wouldn't go again unless it's something special. Maybe a longer one around Greece or something like that. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of Jamaica in some paragraphs here. I got 3 facts about Jamaica. And while I do that, I'm going to show you some postcards that I found out there of Jamaica that will pique your curiosity. And that's what these videos do, is just give you the foundation of what these cards are and what they might do. And plus it reinforces to me what the market is out there, and I learn a little bit every time I do these. A lot, not just a little bit, a lot. But here we go. Jamaica is an island country in the Caribbean with a rich history that dates back to ancient times. The first people to live in Jamaica were Tainos. I'll put that right down at the bottom, T-A-I-N-O-S. I think I'm saying it right. Who arrived around 700 AD. They were peaceful people who lived off the land, farming and fishing. In 1494, Christopher Columbus arrived, claiming the island for Spain. The Spanish rule led to the decline of the Taino population due to diseases and harsh treatment. In 1655, the British took control of Jamaica from the Spanish. Under British rule, Jamaica became a major center for sugar production. To work on the sugar plantations, the British brought enslaved Africans to the island. This period was marked by severe hardship and suffering for the enslaved people. Over time, their resistance grew, leading to several uprisings, and most famous being led by national heroes like Nanny of the Maroons and Sam Sharpe. Jamaica gained its independence from Britain on August 6, 1962. Since then, it has developed its own identity and culture, known for its music, especially reggae, and sports, particularly track and field. Despite facing economic challenges, Jamaica has made significant strides in education, tourism, and the arts. Today it is celebrated for its vibrant culture and contributions to the world stage. Jamaica postcards are colorful and vibrant, capturing the essence of this beautiful Caribbean island. They often feature stunning images and sandy beaches, turquoise waters, lush green mountains, and iconic landmarks like Dunn's River Falls and Blue Mountains. Postcards also showcase the island's rich culture, with scenes of reggae musicians, bustling markets, and traditional festivals. These postcards serve as a delightful memento for visitors, offering a glimpse of Jamaica's natural beauty and lively spirit to share with friends and family back home. The 3 facts I got. First one is tree climbing goats. Yes, tree climbing goats. In some parts of Jamaica, you might spot goats climbing trees to reach tasty leaves and fruits. These agile animals have adapted to their environment in a rather unusual way, making for a quirky, unexpected sight. I think I've seen those on a documentary. See if I can find a picture to put in the video. But tree climbing goats. Then there's a haunted highway, the Palisados Road. I'll put that name down there too, at the bottom, which connects Kingston to the Norman Manley International Airport, is rumored to be haunted. Travelers have reported seeing ghostly aberrations and mysterious figures along this eerie stretch of road, adding to an element of spookiness to their journey. Another fact, the last fact, no snakes island. Despite being a tropical island, Jamaica is almost entirely free of snakes. This is due to the mongoose, which was introduced in the 19th century to control the rat population, but it ended up nearly wiping out the snake species, making Jamaica a serpent-free zone. I think Hawaii is the same as that, but I don't know if they got mongooses in Hawaii. But those are some facts about Jamaica, the history. You know, Spain got them, British, and then independence, and now it's a bustling tourist thing. But do they sell? Let's see. I always go over this little chart. Bottom is 0 to 3%. So if you do the sell-through rate, sold divided by list times 100, and you come up with 0 to 3%, they're probably not going to sell as fast as the other ones above. Where I work is 4 to 10% in the average and high. Those are the ones I look for. Chrome cards, white border cards divided back and some Continentals and chrome and stuff is usually what I look for. And while I do that, I usually find the higher sell-through rate percent, 11 plus at the top. So that's the little chart I use. You gotta have something. It's just a probability. It's nothing totally exact, but it gives me something to work with, some data. I just don't like going my gut all the time. Sometimes you gotta do that, but I'm a data-driven person, and I like things that fall in a range. I'm not gonna go down to the last card, and so it's not gonna make a difference. There's 11 million cards out there and listed on eBay. It just tells me there's a better chance of the 8 to 10% is going to sell more than the 0 to 3%. So do sell-through rate first is what I do, and then I go through and I kind of look at the pricing and see if it's something I really want to deal with. So the sell-through rate, all I do is go out to eBay. I don't go real fancy. I just go out to eBay, put in the search, postcard Jamaica. Then I get the sold. I click sold and it clicks completed. 343. So 343 sold. Then I unclick the sold, which unclicks completed, and I get 6,900 listed. So I take the 343 divided by 6,900, then I times it by 100 to get a percent, and then I round up or down. So I get a solid percent, so I can kind of remember this. It comes out to 5%. And if you look at the chart, that's just an average card. I still pick them up because average cards will sell more than the low cards, probability-wise. So it's only a 5%, but I always check this up against a few other things just to see if I got the calculation right, eBay's telling me right, and just a gut check. So I put postcard Barbados. Came up with 3%. So 3, 5 on there. Jamaica's 5%. Puerto Rico's out there in the Caribbean. 6%. I remember in Puerto Rico was pretty hot for a while. It's kind of slowed down, but I used to pick up the Puerto Rico cards all the time. 6%, and then Bahamas, 6%. So I feel the Caribbeans are 5 to 6%, which is going to be an average card. So when I go to buy these cards, I'm not going to pay a lot for them. Their average cards are going to sit and go long tail. Some will sell right away when you list them, but the other one's going to sit. So you don't want to pay top dollar because you're going to tie up your money and time. But they normally do sell, but it does take a little while for postcards to sell. If you get a box of cards and they got some internationals and a quarter of the box of Jamaica, that's average. Then you got some other ones and stuff. So it gives you an idea what it's going to take to sell those cards. They're not going to jump off the shelves. Some of them might, depends on the subject, but they're just like average cards. So they're going to sit in a box and they're going to sell whenever. Then we get into pricing since I figured out sell-through rate. Now I didn't find any really high price things that fall. Probably some higher ones I threw out, real photos and stuff, and some the lower 99-cent, $1.99 auctions I don't deal with. I don't try to compete with pricing that much on eBay. There's so many cards out there, and the price variation is just huge. So I come up with a base of what I want, and then I go out and just look from high to low here, and just see what can I get the most out of. So I'm going to start. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards here. I'm going to start at the top, highest price one, down to the lowest one, and we'll walk through these real quick and just show you the wide range on there. Now this first one is a Jamaica to Turks Island postcard, 1894. It's a real early one, and they got $35 on it, but they only got one bid. So it tells me it's a buy it now. When you put it in auction, get one bid, it's buy it now. So they got $35 for it, and that's pretty good. It's a early card, and that's probably what sold it, is getting it in there. Next one's a 1950 King Street, Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica Times bookstore. So it's got a bookstore in there. So is it a topical, a view card, a Main Street? It depends what you want to do with it. You can call it a Main Street, you can Kingston Street, or you can locate them. They did both in the title, and they took a best offer of under, probably $25, $20. So $35, $20, not too bad. Then I see a lot of these cart ones with Jamaica. Jamaica postcard, men riding animal wood carriers, circa 1910, unposted, antique. I would take some of that stuff out of the title, but they got another $25, $20 out of that. So someone looks like the same seller probably, and then someone's out there hunting for Jamaica. So $25, 35 to 25. Then you start going down a little bit on the scale. Then you got the Cayman's Racetrack near Kingston, Jamaica, vintage postcard, $15. And I got a video about horse racing. Check that out. And that's a $15 card. I'd sell it, but I want to get it for a good price. Then Jamaica Governor's Coach Bust Appleton Sugar Estate. Remember, when the British took over from Spain, Jamaica became a huge sugar producing country. And Ipswich Caves postcard. So there's like a coach bus, an older bus on there, some people, $12.75. Not too bad. I like that card with the bus and stuff and the people in the front. Nice picture there. Is the bus leaning a little bit on the shoulder? Hope it doesn't go down. Then you got the Playboy Club and Bunnies, Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And they got rare in there. Bunnies are all over. $10, I took best offer, maybe 7, 8 for the bunnies, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 bunnies there, so let's say they got $8, $1 a bunny. But Playboy stuff used to be a lot hotter on that stuff. It's kind of calmed down on there. I don't sell the magazines and the risque stuff, but Playboy bunnies like this, postcards I used to sell, and they sold pretty regularly, but it's kind of quieted down, I think. I think I got any listed right now, but the prices kind of dropped too. Then the next one is a Volkswagen auto dealer, Jamaica. That is pretty neat. Probably early, I don't know what year it is, $12 for an auto dealership. I should do a video on auto dealers. That would be pretty neat to see, because I like Volkswagen and stuff like that. And then you got the map cards. I did a video on map cards out there, and this is the map of Jamaica in the West Indies souvenir postcard. $7.99, took best offer, probably $5. Map cards depends how old they are and ornate they are and stuff, but they do sell. They're not fast selling. So all of these are pretty average cards. The top ones we did are more outliers and stuff, but when you get into the racetrack and down and around, as you notice, they're $5 to $12, $15. So a little above average on the price on some of them, but you still fall into some that are average. So be careful with Jamaican postcards. They're not unique. Let's just say it's a touristy company. There are probably a lot of these made, but some of the older ones can be like that one for $35. So I don't pass up Caribbean. If I can get them for 50 cents or below on the average ones, the older ones I might go $1 to $3. They resell and then see what I can get out of it. But I buy them in batches and lots is where I usually find a lot of Jamaica stuff, or antique malls. I always check the international racks and stuff and see if there's any Caribbean and see if I can get them pretty good. That's Jamaica. No. Now let's get into, since we're coming into the end of the year soon, in the fourth quarter, if you haven't got your numbers figured out yet for the year, you might want to go back and do it. You should be checking these at least quarterly to see where you stand. And people ask me how I do things. Can you share your spreadsheet? I won't share my spreadsheet. It's so customized to me. I don't want to get into tech support and all the formulas and stuff like that. It's customized to the way I do things. When I sell stuff in Ko-Fi, I have a little form that comes up that tells me, calculates everything, and then when I sell something in the postcard store, cost of goods, I got some formulas and stuff that might not work. I just don't want to get into it, but I'll give you the basis of getting started that I think all you need to do to comply and figure out what you got and where you're going to be at the end of the year. So the poll from the viewer asked me to put this out there was, do you use an accounting program to manage your business? I said yes. And please leave program in comments. I want to know what they used. 11% said yes. 89% said no. Please leave what you do. It's interesting that people do that. They're probably just taking what I'm going to show you here in a second and just using that to guide them, and which isn't bad. And I'll show you how I do it. I got 4 comments here. Lisa said, Google Sheets works well for me. 3 simple tabs with a sum above, monthly sold, expenses, and mileage calculated. Yeah, I don't have much mileage anymore. When I went down to Nashville or I go to an auction, I'll put that in there. But at the end of the year, I mean, I don't track every little mile because I don't run around the garage sales. I might go to the post office, but I'm doing other things. I'm not worried about 5 miles and the little receipts at the garage sales. The black collar, they can come sue me fine me or whatever for not getting a receipt for a $1 postcard I bought at a garage sale. You know, that's not what they're looking for. So Google Sheets, I think, Lisa, are free, and you can do that. Just type in Google Sheets and you can figure it out. Then thanks, Lisa. Then Julie Flicka said, I learned a long time ago how to keep my books from my tax accountant. Yeah, they're a wealth of knowledge, basically making it easier for him to file for me. Being small makes it easy too. Yeah, when you don't have a lot of stuff, a lot of different sites, all these expenses, and it's pretty simple. Most resellers, normal resellers, not the real big ones, how many expenses do you have a month? 10? And if you just have a spreadsheet or how you want to do it and just total those up for the month, how many sales, eBay, I'll show you where eBay tells you that. All your other sites, you can add that into it, and you minus your expenses from your sales, and it gives you a profit, and then times your profit by 15.3% or whatever the unemployment tax or the employment taxes, self-employment tax is. That's how much taxes that you owe when you go to file your taxes. Most people are sole proprietors, so it'll just be under your Social Security number if you file jointly or independently, and then you can do a Schedule C. Now, if your IRS says that you're a hobby, then what that does is you're just a hobby seller and you're not showing any profit, then after a certain amount of time you won't be allowed to put a Schedule C in to do expenses because it's just a hobby. So you want to show something every so often. But yeah, just talk to your tax person. If you don't have one, I always recommend to get one. People can do it all online and stuff like that. My tax person saves me money. I spend, what, $150, $200 a year for the business and another $150 for personal. They have always saved me more than that and kept me in line. They know all the rules. I'm not a tax person. I'm not a financial type guru. I don't want to learn that. I let them figure out. Professionals don't speak out of their area, is what I always said. Then mailbox memories, Ashley, spreadsheet of income and expenses, and a file folder for paper receipts for those that I don't have electronically. Now, a lot of postcard sellers have a duplex scanner or some type of scanner. What I do every quarter now, I track it daily. I put my numbers in daily and just look and see, but I really don't make any changes until the quarter. But every quarter, so 4 times a year, I have a little rack on the wall over here that I put all my receipts in. So say I'm going to be coming up on January, February, March. Then April, I'll go through and I'll get January, February, March's receipts and figure out all that stuff, true up the numbers, and I'll put them in stacks. And then when I get the receipts done, I will put a cover page and I'll run them through the scanner and have them scanned to my computer. Because if they audit you, they're going to come back, we'd like to see your August expenses. Do you have those? I can go right in and find August and just send them the PDF of all the receipts. I save it as a PDF, or I can just give them that one receipt. The receipts that you get, thermal receipts at the stores and stuff, they will fade. No matter if you got light on them or whatever, over time they will fade away. So having them electronically is what they prefer, and they recommend and stuff in there. You don't have to keep every little receipt. I mean, they're not gonna. No one's looking around the corner at your little business and stuff. Just be truthful in what you do. You'll be fine on there. Now, if you're doing something that's not right and you're doing it purposely, yeah, they got computers. They check things and stuff. So thanks, Ashley. Then BitBuffalo, I keep writing my own formulas in Excel since I customize the data I wish to track. Yeah, if you're not in spreadsheets, you really want to look into it. You're behind the times if you're doing it with pen and paper. Spreadsheets can save you so much time. And I'm like Biff, I've customized mine because I can write in VBA and all that in Excel, put buttons on. I've customized it so much over the last couple of years that I couldn't share it with anybody. It wouldn't work for them because it's too customized for how I do and my site and things I sell and stuff. So thanks Biff, and thanks everyone for participating. But let's talk about what it means to track sales and expenses accurately. If you want to get into reselling and make some money every month, you really got to understand how you're doing. Just like having a car. You want to make sure your oil's changed and stuff so you keep it running. It gets you where you want to go. You're getting good gas mileage, and know when the little indicators pop up. Some key performance indicators. So tracking sales and expenses accurately is crucial for running a successful reselling business. Proper record keeping helps you manage cash flow, analyze profitability, comply with tax regulations, and prepare for potential audits. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about potential audits. I've been in business over years and stuff like that, never been audited. One time there was a mistake made on my return, but that was done by my CPA. And since I had a CPA file my return, they paid for the discrepancy. I didn't have to pay anything because it was there. They did it, and that's what, when she signs on there, she says everything's fine. She missed something, and it wasn't crazy money. It was just something that computers kicked out. And it was years ago in the restaurant that she fixed. And I was a S corporation with what, 5-6 entities under me, catering and all this other stuff, and I had a whole bunch of employees, W-2s, so it was more complex in there. And they did my payroll for me, filing my taxes and stuff. They had a checkbook and they wrote checks out and stuff like that. So I focused on what I did, is cook food, restaurants, getting clients, getting caterings, and they did that, and they missed something one year. It was no big deal. I didn't have to do anything. They took care of it. But eBay gives you, if you go into, at the top of your seller hub and go into performance sales, and you say click on a certain date or this month or last month, it's going to give you some numbers. And this is what I do with them. Every day I put this onto a spreadsheet. Now, these numbers that you get for sales, at the end of the year, you're going to get a 1099 from eBay or whatever the reselling sites. When you file your taxes, you better have your sales number at or above those 1099s, because if they say you sold $1,000 worth of stuff and give you a 1099, and you say you sold 500 on your return, it's easy math. Hey, eBay says you sold 1,000, you're only saying you sold 500. What's the discrepancy? And they're going to adjust to whatever stuff in there. So always be at or above is what my tax accountant said. So I take all my 1099s that come in from YouTube and all these things, not much on YouTube, different things I do. I add all my 1099s up, and I make sure my sales number I give my CPA every year is at or above that. And she never has a problem with it. Or she'll adjust it herself, because you really can't be below sales. Here in there, when you bring this up, I just brought up one day back in a couple years ago, whatever, and it came up. Now, if you notice that, A, there is your sales. That's the total gross of everything. Next to it is some stuff, and then B is where the sales tax and stuff like that is what I figured out. A minus B is the sales, because I don't care about sales tax. And they take care of all that and stuff like that. So I just take that out, and it's like there and then gone. So 73.57 minus 578 is going to give me my sales. Then that's the top number. Then the other number eBay gives you is C, which is 1645, which is your selling cost on your fees and stuff like that from eBay. So C is an expense, selling cost. I just bundle it together. I don't care about how much I spent on shipping or whatever. I want to see what my total cost is. I can always drill down if I wanted to, but I know the number I need to be at and stuff, and I don't do a lot of promoting all these fees. That number should be as low as possible to sell your stuff. But eBay doesn't know what you paid for your stuff. How much? They didn't know how much I paid for this postcard. Now, I do an average on my paperwork at home. I do an average, 15 cents a card, or if I buy a lot of cards and it's 5 cents a card, or I buy some at auctions and it's 20 cents a card. When I'm listing those cards on my spreadsheet, I just put those on there, and at the top is my total number that I give my accountant in here in my inventory. So you can have cost of good or cost of goods. Most resellers, when they file their returns at the end of the year for their inventory, they file as cash. That means if I go out and buy $1,000 worth of postcards, I'm going to expense $1,000 on there, and then when I sell it, I don't expense a cost of goods sold again. I do it one time. The problem with that, at the end of the year, that's fine, but the problem with it during tracking your expenses during the year is you got to carry that $1,000 or that $10,000 you bought stuff throughout the year. It doesn't give me the right reflection of how my business is actually doing. So on my paperwork here that I do every day, I do what they call accrual inventory tracking, and what that is, I only expense it when I sell it. Now at the end of the year, I do cash. So I take my beginning inventory of the year, minus my inventory at the end of the year minus inventory beginning of the year, and that's my cost of goods sold. What I had, what I sold, and what I bought, it comes up and she calculates that. I give her two numbers, beginning of the year, end of year. And my end of year is my next year's beginning inventory, is how it comes in. So that's cash at the end of the year. During the year, for me to see how my business is going, I expense it as I sold it, and I just take an average, 15 cents a card, whatever. I don't worry about getting down to 5 cents. I paid 70 cents. I got to get a receipt for this. No, I'm not worried about that on there. So if you take C, which is the selling cost from eBay, plus your cost of goods, plus your monthly expenses. eBay doesn't know about your subscriptions, your Photoshop thing, or whatever you do for photo room and different things like that, or you bought some pencils or a stapler, or you bought some shipping supplies. They don't know that. They don't care. You put that in there. So you take C, selling costs, plus cost of goods sold, plus monthly expenses, equal expenses. So you get your sales, and now you get your expenses. You take sales minus expenses, that's your profit. You get taxed on profit, not sales. So you got to keep track of your expenses. Then you take your profit and times it by the self-employment tax. I think it's 15.3% this year. I could be wrong. Taxes owed. That's really all there is to it when it comes down to what eBay gives you. And that can keep you in the ballpark. Now at the end of the year, my number might be a little off to the 1099, but it's not far off. It's not going to make me sweat. You know, I'm not saying $500 and they come back with $5,000. That number A is going to be in the ballpark. So as I said, eBay gives you all this information a lot better than it did before, and I think it goes back 2-3 years now. I'm not for sure how far back it goes, but you can go back and get that. It also tells you in the bottom left there is how many items sold. It gives you your average sale price. It just gives you a lot of information. Sometimes that's bad, but this is just a simple page here, and I just use A, B, and C, and I calculate my own sell-through rate and stuff, or average sale price, and how many items I track what I sold, but I do it every day. But the conclusion to this, cash flow is the lifeblood of eBay reselling business. Cash flow. It's not just about making sales, but also about managing when and how cash flows in and out of business. In and out. That's cash flow. Effective cash flow management helps ensure the business remains solvent, can seize opportunities for growth. You have money set to the side, so if someone comes up and says, I want to sell you 10,000 postcards for $1,000, do you have that $1,000 to invest? If not, don't buy it. You don't want to go in debt doing this. It's tough to get out of. It's easy to do, and then, oh, I'll get out of it, and it doesn't sell right away, and all of a sudden you got monthly payments. It just keeps adding to expenses, so be careful. Sometimes you do have to put a few things on a credit card because they don't take cash or something like that, but I keep all my debt. I don't have any debt. Everything I have is paid for, and if I don't have the money, I don't buy it, and is prepared for financial challenges. So when you have slow months like this year, and I hear a lot of people yelling and saying sales are slow, I can't make my bills, once you get out of this, you need to set it up so it never happens again. You need to have some accounts. I have 3 business accounts. One that eBay everybody connects to. I keep minimum amount of money for monthly expenses up there. The next one is my taxes and longer term stuff I pay, and then the bottom is a surplus profit. Nobody has access to my bottom 2 accounts except me and the bank. The top one is up there, so if anything comes up, I have surplus sitting down there to do things. And I do take draws out of the business because it's my money. And I'm not a corporation, so I don't have to pay myself and stuff. Just sole proprietor, very simple. And I can use it for whatever I want to on there. So I have funds in case it has a slow month, but I haven't had those in a while. By staying on top of cash flow, eBay sellers can build a sustainable and profitable business. When you're starting out, you have startup costs, and IRS figures you're not going to make as much, and there might even take a loss the first 2 years. But you want to be successful on there and not overspend. Now sometimes you want that new scanner and you're going to have to carry it for a couple months to pay for it. Just make it, each individual is different. Me, being retired, I don't want to have any debt and stuff like that because we're on fixed incomes and everything goes against that bottom line. If I have a real good month, I'll put 25% into the surplus and just every month I put some money into that surplus no matter what. So I have that slush fund. And then sometimes that slush fund goes down because I bought a lot of stuff. And then I rebuild it back up and stop buying. So I don't buy if I don't have money to do that. But you got your operating expense, your taxes and stuff you want to put away every month, every quarter, and then you have a little surplus fund to do things. And then pay yourself. Always pay yourself first, is what I tell people. You need to pay yourself first. That's the accounting. If you got any questions about that, talk to a tax person. I'm not a tax person. Everything I do here is just demonstration. But I have a tax person. Some people say don't need one. If you're just a hobby seller selling $1,000, $2,000 a year, I wouldn't spend. Just put it in and see what they tell you when you do your taxes. But if you're really wanting to make this work, or you're a bigger seller and stuff, I always recommend to get some professional tax service. It will pay for itself. It's a poll. Now we're going to get into viewer comments. I get 4 comments here, and the first one is, what do you expect in Q4, quarter 4 of the year, for postcard sales? Do you sell more during the holidays? I see a little bump once in a while and stuff like that, but I don't bank on quarter 4. I used to when I had toys. I wanted everything in by October and then get them out. And during the pandemic and stuff, that's what really caused a lot of problems, because I didn't get them until like the next July. So I put money out, I couldn't sell them, and then the next year, they're older toys, they don't sell as well, so took a loss on that. But that's just the way it is. No, I don't play the games of quarter 4, get the Christmas up now, get the Halloween up now. I'm not in that game anymore. There's so much stuff out there. Just list it. You buy it, you list it. I used to list Christmas stuff in March, Halloween stuff in July. It doesn't matter to me. And I just get it on the shelf and stuff. But some people do well during quarter 4. People that sell stuff that sells for Christmas presents. I don't see that in mine. It's a little bump. I think I probably sell more in January and February than I do during October, November, December. So it's usually the next year I get a little more bump. But it's pretty consistent throughout the year. It doesn't jump up in sales. It's a pretty even line. Now this year it dropped a little bit from there, but it goes back up and down. But by the end of the quarter, it kind of trends out. So no, I just another day to me. Thanks. And then Super Neo. So this was a question after they watched the eBay standard envelope analysis I do every month about looking at the scans and talking about that. And he watched the insurance video, get your money back, about eBay standard insurance. So do you refund someone when the card shows delivered and they open the case saying not delivered? And can you still file a not delivered insurance claim? Absolutely. So basically, if the buyer claims that it's lost or damaged, and it's in a message or in a case, you can file a claim per eBay rules. And this is right from eBay, right here, right from their help page. If a buyer claims they have not received the item, we suggest working with them to resolve the issue, and then raise a claim with the included shipment protection to cover your losses. So the key is, even though it shows delivered, you can refund them and get your money back. You can't do that with other things in eBay. If you stamp in a label, or if you do ground advantage, it can say delivered, and the post office is going to say it was delivered. You're going to fight with them. But eBay standard insurance is pretty easy. You just got to wait between 30 and 90 days to put the claim in. You got to do it after 30 days and before 90. If you go over 90, it's not going to let you. If you try to put it in before 30, it knows a little algorithm with the ESU tracking number. It's not going to let you until you're ready. And that video, getting your money back, will walk you through the claim form and the process. So if it says delivered on a package, you're pretty well covered. And they can call eBay and get their money back or whatever. But you shouldn't be out anything. But with a $4, $5, $8 postcard, I'm not going to fight with the customer. You need to look here, you need to look in your neighbors. I don't send them those messages. I just say, hey, let's give it a couple more days. If it doesn't show up, whatever. Well, then I'll refund you and we'll get it done. But just remember, an eBay standard envelope, when it says delivered, it's still at the last sorting center. It is not like package tracking. It will take 1 to 3 days to get to the house or the mailbox. So that you got to push them along a little bit. So it's not going to be there. But yes, I do refund them. But they have to say it wasn't there. So ask the question. So you're saying that it's not, you don't have the card. They say yes, that's your message, or have them open a case. I always have them open a case. It just makes it more official. Everything's done in there. Thanks for the great question. That's a super question. And then the last comment was, I must have said this in a video or whatever, or somewhere. Why do you ship 6 days a week and other resellers say they never ship on weekends? What do you think is right? What I do. If I didn't think it was right, I wouldn't do it. But I'm at home. If I had a full-time job, or I used to travel, I wouldn't be able to do it every day. I don't have anybody here that can do that. So it depends on your circumstance, but I think most people can ship at least daily. 1 day shipping or 2 day shipping, and get it out there. But if you're on the road and stuff, it can be tough. But why do I ship? It's the only thing, one of the only things I have full control of right now is shipping. So if I can ship Monday through Saturday, I'd do it on Sunday too. I sell 20 postcards at, 20 minutes, 15 minutes to pull those cards and put them in an envelope, put them in the mailbox. Or if I'm running out, I'll run them over to the post office. It's not hard. I don't know why people don't do that. The full-timers that are at home, I think, should be working together to get the shipping done. That's the highest priority of my business, is when they pay, I ship. That I don't see anything else that's more important than shipping. And some people don't like it. Well, if you don't like it, you're in the wrong business, because that's the biggest part to me is shipping, is get these things out the door. People complain about the post office being slow. Get that extra day, especially with the holidays coming. I'll put them in the mailbox in the morning, and if I get a good stack of stuff to push out, I'll bring it over to the post office that afternoon. Because I would need that extra day during the holidays sometimes, because it does slow down. With an election year, it could get even slower. So you want to be prepared. Me and my son, and we were full-time. I wouldn't have him just doing shipping. We'd both work together. And we would probably get things ready the night before as much as possible. Spend a half hour the night before, spend a half hour in the morning, and then maybe look at during the day and see if I can get stuff out too. Getting the stuff out the door to me is so important. To get that one extra day, especially during the holidays. Just because everybody's off doesn't mean the post office is. It's still moving. So that's why I do that. And some people don't want to work on the weekends. That's fine. That's their way they run their business. But then people complain about sales and do this and do that, but then they don't do that. I just don't get it. It's the end of the transaction as well. Everything you've done, buying it, listing it, selling it, and doing all the offers and stuff, that's the last thing. Get it out the door. So that's just the way I think. It's the easiest thing, most controlled thing I have. So, but I'm not dishing anybody that doesn't do it. I'm not saying it's bad or you shouldn't do it, but that's what you want to do. Especially maybe you got kids and stuff like that. But that's why I do it, is get that extra day. My competitors doing it, shipping every 2 to 3 days. I'm going to do that. Jamaica Postcards, Caribbean Postcards, keep an eye on them. They average sellers that sell in the data. I do sell them. I do pick them up. I got to be a very good price for those. There are some real good ones out there. I forgot what they are, but the older ones and stuff like that. But you'll know when you see it, because it's just going to look cool. Especially with the Jamaica colors on there. It does really well. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.